how to get interference. So how can we use this principle of interference to test for flatness? So flatness testing. So this can be used to check flatness of surfaces like slip gauges or gauge blocks because they are highly flat and reflective. So very rough surfaces, we cannot use interference. Only if they are very good surfaces like gauge blocks or slip gauges, which are highly flat and reflective, such surfaces can be checked using interference. So the basic tool we use to check gauge blocks is the optical flat. It is a circular piece of unstressed glass or quartz, material can be these two, approximately diameter 5 centimeter to 30 centimeter, and quite thick, not very thin. It is thick enough to resist flexure due to own weight. Okay, maybe 15 to 20 mm. And upper and lower surfaces are ground optically flat. So both surfaces are flat, and of course they should also be parallel, then only we'll get the proper pattern. So interference fringes with optical flats. So this is the sodium vapor lamp from which yellow light is falling onto this surface. So we have one optical flat at the bottom, and over that we are placing another optical flat. So there's a small air gap between them, resulting in fringes. So how do you get these fringes? So the optical flat on the top is resting on the bottom surface. Bottom surface can be any optical flat or any reflecting surface. So a ray of light which comes here. So after reaching the bottom of the optical flat is reflected back partially. Remaining goes down, is reflected at the bottom face and again goes up. So between these two rays, there is a path difference of equal to this distance. So that results in interference between the two, because they are coming from the same source, they are all having the same wavelength, but now there is a path difference between this and this. So between these two, there will be interference. So that results in fringes like this. So the fringes follow a line of constant distance between optical flat and base. So the line, the fringes form a line. They are of constant distance between optical flat and base. So the gap between the optical flat and the base, so wherever the height is same, there will be, along that there will be a line, because the path difference is constant along that line. Okay, so that is the basic principle of testing flatness. So if these lines are parallel, so they indicate a flat surface. So surface is flat. But suppose the interference fringes are curved, then it shows that there is some contour. The height is not, it is not flat, but some other pattern is there. So optical flats in use. So here you can see an optical flat placed over a flat surface, placed over a sphere. Again, flat surface and a cylinder. So what is that we observe? So here we can see fringes. So on a flat surface, we get slight taper is there, but more or less parallel fringes. But on a spherical surface, we get the curved fringes. So here we can see it is slightly more curved. So there's a slight convexity or something on the surface. And over a cylinder also we get lines, but the spacing is not uniform. So based on these patterns, we can identify what is the type of surface. So that is the basic idea of flatness testing using optical flats. So a gauge block, if it is rung to an optical flat, what will happen? If you ring a gauge block to an optical flat, then there is no air gap between the two. So there will not be any interference fringes formed at this interface. So there will not be any visible fringes. It will be simply gray color. So if it is perfectly flat, suppose the gauge block is not perfectly flat, then there will be some air gap between that, and there you will find fringes. So if after ringing there is no gap at all, then it will be like this. Now gauge block is not rung to the surface, but it is slightly tilted. Gauge block is kept over the optical flat is kept over the gauge block, and there is a slight angle between the two. Then there will be a wedge-shaped air gap. And when it is illuminated, we will get straight and parallel fringes. So if gauge block is perfectly flat, you'll get this sort of straight and parallel fringes. So if you use white light, you'll get multicolored fringes like this, so which is not very clear. So that's why we prefer monochromatic light, so that we get clear fringes. It's difficult to measure here, which is the starting point, ending point is not so easy. That's why this is not used. So gauge block resting on optical flat. So depends on where the point of contact is. So along a line of interference fringe, the gap is constant. So that is the basic principle. So here it is parallel, but here you can see it is slightly curved. So it is resting at somewhere this corner, etc. So we can interpret how much is the flatness error, etc. from this pattern. So the gauge block is not rung. So we can see the deviation in flatness over the surface. So how to compute the flatness error? So the height difference between two fringes. So between any pair of fringes, the path difference corresponds to lambda, or height difference corresponds to lambda by 2. So if there are two fringes, the height difference between this point and this point corresponds to 2 lambda by 2. Okay, so path difference is double this. So that is the basic principle. I think you would have studied in your +2 such problems. So two microscopic slides are in contact at one end and separated by a piece of paper 100 mm away on the other side. So these are two microscope slides, and other end we have a piece of paper. So this is a piece of paper. So this is 100 mm away from this end, contact end. When illuminated by monochromatic light of wavelength 0.5 microns, interference fringes of width 2 mm are observed. Determine the thickness of the paper. So interference fringes of width 2 mm are observed. So height difference per fringe is 0.25 micron. So how many fringes will be observed? So the length is 100 mm. So fringe width is 2 mm. So that means over this 100 mm, from this end to this end, 100 mm, fringes of width 2 mm. So how many fringes will be there? 100 by 2, 50 fringes. The number of fringes 50. So therefore, height difference per fringe is lambda by 2, 0.5 by 2, 0.25 micron. So over 50 fringes, the height difference will be 12.5 microns. So that is the thickness of the paper. So this is the basic idea of our measurement of thickness of objects using interferometry. Okay, this is clear. Any question? Okay. So optical flat can be used as a comparator to inspect or to measure gauge blocks. For example, if you want to compare one gauge block with a reference block, so you know gauge block K grade or 0 grade can be used as a reference block to calibrate. If it is 0 grade, you can calibrate grade 1 block. Okay, so you can use optical flat as a comparator. So this is the reference block, this is the unknown block. What we do is we place an optical flat over the surface. So this is the gauging surface, top two surfaces are the gauging surface, and preferably they should be rung over to this surface so that there is no gap. So we have defined the length of a gauge block as the length from the rung surface to the top surface. So now we use this as a comparator. So now if the heights are different, so we'll get patterns like this. So if there are five fringes between this point and this point, that means the height difference here will be 5 lambda by 2. So this part we don't have to see. Over the reference block, this is 5 plus. So two gauge blocks are run to a base and kept side by side. An optical flat is kept on top and illuminated with light of wavelength 0.59 micron. Determine height of unknown block. Your reference block is 2.050 mm. So reference block is 2.050. So that is, this distance should be 5 lambda by 2 plus this 2.050. And of course, if this is not 5, if this is say 4, what does that mean? That means this surface is not parallel to this surface. Okay, if both surfaces are having same, so then the two surfaces are similar and parallel. So 5 lambda by 2 is 1.475 micron. So plus 2.05 is 2.051475 mm. Okay, so that is how we can use interference principle to measure the height of gauge blocks. Okay, a slightly more complicated example. A reference gauge X of known length is run to a surface and is in close contact with a cylinder of known size, which in turn abuts gauge Y. The measuring surfaces of gauge Y are flat but not parallel, and the optical flat makes contact at corner A. Determine the heights of A, B, C, and D with respect to X. The wavelength is 0.5 microns. Okay, so we have one gauge block, a reference gauge block. Abutting it is a cylinder, and then another gauge block. So this is the elevation, this is the plan. So this is the cylinder, this is one gauge block, this is another gauge block. So this is the reference gauge block, so over which we have parallel equispaced fringes. But over block Y, the surface is not, the lines are not parallel to this. So that means there is a taper over the surface. So what is it given? So makes contact at corner A. So the optical flat makes contact here. So that means C should be below A. And B also should be, B will definitely be below. Okay, so based on this distances, so we have these dimensions are given. The width of this gauge block is 9 mm. The cylinder is 20 mm. Width of Y is 9 mm. So we have 7 fringes over this. So what is the height? Okay, 7 fringes over this. So this height, this gap will be 7 lambda by 2. So we can get this distance. then from this triangle we can get this distance at 29. So this is at 9 mm, it is 7 lambda by 2. Then from similar triangles, the height here will be k into 29 by 9. So h equal to 5.6388 microns, I think. So height of A above X is 5.63 because it makes contact at A. Now B is higher than A. So B can be either higher or lower than A. But if seeing the number of fringes, so here there are 7 fringes. So if here also there are 7 fringes from A to B, then it is parallel to EF. So if B is increased, what will happen? The gap will be reduced here compared to this. So the number of fringes will decrease. So if B is down, then number of fringes will increase. So since we have only 4 fringes from here to here, so B is above A. B is higher than 4 less than 7, so it is higher than A by then minus 4 into lambda by 2 plus 0.75 micron. Then C is lower than A by 0 minus 12 into lambda by 2 minus 3 micron. D is higher than C by 0.75 micron since both sides are parallel. So here C is lower than A by 12 because we know it is contacting at A. And there are 12 fringes from down, going down. So D relative to A is minus 2.25 micron. Thus, by seeing the pattern of fringes, we can determine the heights of various points on the surface. And we can easily do qualitative testing, contour testing, by interpreting the deviations from parallel lines. For example, microfeature features we are done in the lab. Then convex surface. So if you place an optical flat on a convex surface, so a convex cylindrical surface, convex spherical surface means you will get circular patterns. If it is convex cylindrical, we will get lines like this. So we will get a fringe of this pattern. So why the spacing will decrease? Because here the rate of the taper is small. As you go, the taper becomes very large. The angle becomes steeper and steeper, and here becomes very small. The fringes become very small. So how can you check whether this surface is convex or concave? So there's a simple trick. You press your finger on one side. So if you press here, if the surface is convex, the whole optical flat will tilt towards this side. Then what will happen? So this center position will move towards this side. So if that happens, so if you press the surface, if the center position moves to this side, then we can say that the surface is convex. And if it is a concave surface, also the pattern will be same, but when you press the surface, what will happen? Instead of shifting, because now the gap is reduced, so the spacing will increase. So we'll get a different behavior. So from this behavior, we can identify whether the bottom surface is convex or concave. Okay. Next, we come to gauge length